All right, welcome back to another Realtor Spotlight. Again, I'm Aaron Melby with Edge Home Finance, and today I have the pleasure of speaking and interviewing Brandon Doyle. Brandon, we've known each other for a little while now. Why don't you tell everybody, who you are, who do you work with, what areas you cover, and all those things.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Brandon Doyle. I'm known as the real estate tech guy, and I am on a father-son team based out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. So we are with Remax Results, and we definitely specialize in new construction in the Northwest Metro.
Awesome. So, you said you specialize in new construction, but obviously, you do, any type, right? Like existing as well, move up buyers, first time buyers. What got you to specify or, what got you to want to specialize more in the new construction space?
Yeah, I think new homes get people really excited. And with the shortage of inventory, I think it's a great opportunity because you don't have to worry about multiple offers, and then you can get exactly what you want. And so over the years, we've just really built great relationships with the builders and their representatives in the area. I love going to the Parade of Homes and the Artisan Home Tour every spring and fall. And so it's just been kind of a passion of mine. And over the years, we've really picked up a lot of things along the way as far as like how to negotiate with the builders, what to look for during the build process, and just kind of some of the differences of what you get in different neighborhoods. So,
Yeah, and I think that's huge. I mean, I think real estate itself, there's so many, different, ways to go about it, right? Like existing homes, you talked about the new construction. I think working, with someone that has that kind of expertise, that has those relationships, there's some different things working with new construction that I think home buyers have to be on the lookout for. So working with a real estate agent or a team like you guys, can really be beneficial to make sure that all the T's are crossed, literally the I's are dotted, and make sure that they're not missing anything, and that post purchase, they're protected as well, right?
hmm
So okay, so we talked a little bit before we hit record here, and actually got to check my computer space because we tried to record this last one to the computer, and I ran out of some disk space. So I've got some homework on my end. But before we started chatting, you mentioned that you were just in Florida. So one of these things that I like to do with the spotlight is want to find out like, hey, beyond the real estate transaction, what does Brandon like to do? What are some of his hobbies? Get to know Brandon a little bit. I know you just said, you're the tech guy. So, tell me a little about your hobbies and then tell me a little about the tech stuff that you do. I think that's super fascinating, because I followed you on that for a while too now.
yeah. So I was down in Florida for a paintball tournament, and we actually won the series in both 5 and 10 man. So we got promoted to pro, which is kind of fun. It's kind of a goal of mine. But on the tech side, I've been a writer for Realtor magazine for 8 years now, and I have a YouTube channel. I test smart home tech. I do home tours of like cool houses with a lot of technology in them. And yeah, it's just been a passion of mine. I love getting my hands on the stuff and telling people what I think about it. I did a comparison recently with like 16 smart locks. We built a rig and kind of went through and highlighted our favorites. So, yeah, something I enjoy doing.
That is super awesome. I'm gonna have to get if there's any type of if there's a link or a page that I can direct people to. I'm gonna post that in the in the description. So you'll have to make sure we get that input into the description there so they can follow you on that. So going back, so you're literally a pro paintball player
Well, our team earned a pro spot. I don't know
now.
that that actually qualifies me as a pro player, but
I mean, like, I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated by this. Like, are you like I've seen this stuff on like ESPN and stuff. Like, is this stuff where you could elevate to tournaments like that where you could like potentially be on TV?
oh yeah, we've been on the Ocho before.
No way. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. So, getting back to the real estate side, you guys have been doing this for, a long time. I know you and your dad, just amazing, amazing people. And that's part of why I wanted to do this spotlight series is just to highlight, great people, in this business. Because there's so much uniqueness. People that deal with different things, that focus on different things, that specialize in different things. But at the end of the day, what I gravitate to is, just good people, people that want to take care of people, that put them first, over themselves. And so when I say that, what is something that, you said 13 years, what keeps you going? What do you love about this business?
You know, that's something that my wife has pointed out too, that for like a lot of people, they just have a job and they go to their job because they need to make money. But she's really noticed that, like, with me, this is a passion and it's something I really enjoy doing. So I get up every day and I get to help people, either buy or sell. And no 2 days are the same. And you have your good days and your bad days, but I really enjoy it. I love the whole process. And yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what else I would do.
I think, I go back to before I got into mortgage, and I'll ask you maybe, what did you do before real estate? But before I got into mortgage, Scott, it's coming up on 9 years, which seems crazy. But, I was in the restaurant business, and, I felt like I worked for two really, really great companies. And I did feel like I think that's any goal of, any employer or leader or just job in general. If you get to say I get to go to work versus I have to go to work, I think that's a huge thing. And when you mentioned no 2 days are the same, agreed, right? Like you may do similar activity, right? Like when you have clients, you have to go show homes, or you write contracts, and some of that is similar, but you know those clients are not the same. They're different personalities, they're different stages in their life, their buying cycle, whether it's a first timer or, like you said, they're upgrading and they're selling a house, going into that forever new construction home, or downsizing. So I think that's true. So I love how you said that. So again, just, I love that we're doing this and interviewing great people that, say I get to go to work, not, I have to go to work, and how can I help, really change someone's life, impact their life. And it's super rewarding for sure. Um, so something fun, right? So like I know real estate agents spend a ton of time in their vehicles. And so I've always been curious to see, like, what's the go-to snack in the car? What's the car snack for Brandon? What's the maybe the go-to beverage or coffee drink? Like, so what's your go-to in the vehicle? Because we know real estate agents spend a lot of time in their vehicles.
Yeah, so if we're always showing new construction, I always snag beverages from their model homes. But as far as a food item, we have a Chipotle that opened up right in front of our house. They got one of those Chipotle lanes. Just cruise on through there, just eat a burrito while the car's on autopilot. Life is good.
There we go. All right. So we're kind of the beverages from the new construction, and we're crushing some burritos from Chipotle. I can't argue. I think that's
Got to
pretty
be
great.
careful with the sour cream. You don't want to get that on your shirt while you're driving.
Yeah, yeah, and the hot sauces, right? You gotta watch the tip, if you will, or the
Yeah,
lean. You gotta
keep the
get the lean.
backside wrapped up.
Yeah, there you go. Um, you know, talking about, just kind of having a plan and setting goals for ourselves. Obviously, we have personal, professional goals. Like, what are some professional goals that you have for yourself for 2025?
Yeah, so as an author of real estate books, we talk about goal setting a lot. And I built an AI version of myself as a coach. So I took all of my books, all my worksheets, all my presentations, everything, and I trained AI on this. And so I built a GPT and I shared it with the world for free. It's real estate growth coach or something like that. Or just search my name on ChatGPT and you'll find it. But I actually have been interfacing with this AI version of myself almost daily now about like accountability. And for me, I think every year if I could just do a little bit better than the year before, that's great. But a big focus of mine is like dollar per hour activity. And so, how can I work less and make more, or make the same but still work less? And finding that balance. So, I find that a lot of agents will just burn themselves out. And right now, like sales volume across the board is down, and a lot of people are really beating themselves up about that. Like personally, my income took a pretty big hit. It's fine. I just need to focus on the day to day and building those relationships and creating content. And then I know that the market will come back or will adjust. And so I need to focus on what I can control. And so my goals are all around conversations and content creation.
Yeah, no, that's great. And putting in that work, not getting discouraged. I am so curious about this AI thing now. So I will be going to ChatGPT after this. So is it literally like you? Like it's literally you as an AI?
I mean, so
Like,
it's trained on my material. So if you ask
okay.
it, like, help me with the business plan, it'll actually do that for you. And it'll use concepts from the book. So it'll say, here's how many
Oh,
conversations you need. Let's break that down into weekly, daily goals. And, if you tell it where your business came from, how much you made, it'll like reverse engineer, what you need to do to hit whatever your goal is. And it'll encourage you to take into consideration things like taxes and expenses and keep prompting you. And so for me, like using it as an accountability tool is kind of fun because I have the paid account, so it remembers things that I said in the past. And so I find that it's very encouraging and it will say like, whoa, here, keep going with this client. You showed them these houses out in Otsego. I know they're still excited. If you just keep at your goal, here's how many conversations you've had so far, and this is where you need to be. Like, hey, you're on pace or you're falling behind. You'll keep making those calls. And so, like,
yeah.
as an agent, like, I feel like we all know what we need to do. It's just we need to hear it again, right?
Mhm.
Set that reminder, like, okay, keep going.
Yeah.
And I kind of treat it as a motivator.
Yeah, that is, I love that too, because, we talk about, I want to sell a certain amount of houses, or I want to have a certain GCI, right? Or a certain number of loans as a mortgage loan officer, or I want to lose 20 pounds at the gym, or I want to, but what behaviors are we going to put in place to get there? And are we executing on them? Are we, consistent with those things? You can't just say I'm going to sell 50 houses this year. I mean, you have to go out and, like you said, have a certain number of conversations. Are you time blocking? When are you making those calls? How are you lead generating and stuff like that? So yeah, I love that you actually had that all built out, and like you said, you can reference it yourself to kind of keep you motivated on target. So okay, that's pretty fascinating. I love that. So well, I'm sure after, hopefully we have some people that are watching this that maybe they'll reach out to you for a little advice on that or something. So I know you're always willing to help people. That's one thing I like about you. You're always willing to share what you know, share your knowledge, with everyone, which is pretty sweet. So is there anything else? That you'd like to share, about your business. And then lastly, I guess, um, you talked about primarily working in the Northwest Metro, but anything else you'd like to share? And then why should someone choose, Brandon and your team to buy, sell, and invest in real estate?
Yeah, so something unique about us is that we don't spend any money on leads. So all of our businesses, past clients, referrals from loan officers like yourself, other agents in other states, and then a large amount of our business is people that have found us online. And so I go out of my way to create content about neighborhoods and communities that we're a part of. A lot of that is new construction, of course. And so I'll go out on like tomorrow. I'm going to go to three different neighborhoods, actually down in your area, and go through the model homes, film that, create the content, share it on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And so one, people like to see pretty houses and stay up on trends, but it keeps me top of mind with the people I interact with daily, whether that's, past clients, friends, family, or even agents in the market or other markets. They see that, and so they're like, "Oh, yeah, Brandon, he's a new construction expert." But then
Yeah,
on the flip side of that, it helps with search. And so, if you're looking for homes for sale in Maple Grove, I'm never going to win against like Zillow and the Chris Lindahls and the people with unlimited budget. But where I can win is the newest new construction development. So Rush Creek Hollow, or Rush Hollow, sorry. It's the newest community on the north side. And I went out and I talked to every builder up there. And so I have interesting information about that. And so if you were looking specifically in that neighborhood, you're going to find videos and content that I've created. And then through that, you're going to see the other content that I've created. And so maybe Maple Grove doesn't work for you, but hey, you were just out in Blaine and you were talking to Jonathan Holmes. And I really like the quality of the build there that you pointed out. And so I'm going to reach out to Brandon and work with him for that reason. And so every year we get like 3 or 4 families that reach out to us that use us for that expertise. And typically, you're building, it's usually a higher price point. And then a lot of times they're also going to have a home to sell, whether that home is here locally or if they're relocating from out of state. And so the other side of that too is, of course, with relocation, they don't have that local connection. And so they're trying to build, like, do their research online. And video is such a great way to build rapport. So a lot of times people that I meet will, they act like they know me really well, which is kind of an odd experience at first, but you get used to it. And so I think what you're doing here is great because you're able to highlight partners in the area that you work with too and build your relationships with them. But also for your database, it shows that you do have great relationships with agents and like you are kind of the go-to guy, respected, and some of your personality is definitely coming out online. So keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I agree with that. I totally didn't even realize that. I'm thinking like, okay, if you're out of state and moving here, you mentioned those out of state buyers, they are looking at certain areas or they know they're moving to the Northwest Metro and then they see new construction and then they find you and then they get down the rabbit hole of Brandon Doyle videos and it's like, man, like this guy's I like the content that he's providing. They kind of they get to feel like they kind of know you, like you mentioned. You
Mhm.
kind of touched on that. You said a little weird at first, but it's like, hey, Brandon, we saw you online, and we were watching your videos, and can you tell us more about this development or this or that? And who knows, like if maybe that's not the one, but you're like, well, hey, well, if you like this, I have relationships over here too, and now you're just a subject matter expert. They know you, they like you, they now trust you. You've got some rapport built, and like you said, whether they're selling a home here locally or if it's somewhere else, you've got that ability to for referral stuff. And so, yeah, I think just putting yourself out there, right, is probably just the best way to put it. The most simple terms is put yourself out there, take some chances, get on video, and stay connected with great people in this business. So, Brandon, I want to thank you so much for doing this, man. I know you got a lot going on. You guys are busy, and this is just cool. We talked a little bit. We joked before, like I'm not the biggest tech guy. Like I can, I'll post on my social media and share content, and I try to be informational. But this is kind of a whole new level for me. We kind of joked about the editing and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to challenge myself in 2025 to do a little bit more of this as well. But I want to thank you because, I know you guys, your father, your team, you've been around, you guys are very well respected and you've done it right for so many years. And so it's really cool for me to be able to, have another conversation with you and we'll have to get another lunch on the books sometime soon. But
There
definitely
you go.
appreciate the
I have
time,
a
bud.
website, lunchwithbrandon.com.
There we go. All right. Well, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna go to it and get one on the books here for the end of the month, I think. So we'll come up. I'll come up your way. We'll go hit a local spot up there. But thanks so much for your time, dude. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of the day, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show and best of luck with your content creation in the future. Just keep staying authentic and be consistent.